What's up, traders? This is Vee Trades, and today I will be doing a technical analysis breakdown for a strategy with the ticker symbol MSTR. I will first be going over what I see on the daily chart and finish the video off with the weekly chart. This video is for entertainment purposes only. Please trade at your own risk. So my goal for today is to show you guys what the market participants are doing and where they're trying to take price to next. So before I begin, I get a lot of personal requests to look at this stock or this crypto. If you guys want a guarantee to be done, you can leave a donation, a link in my video description below, and I will have to do it because you left a donation. So if you want to guarantee a request, a personal request, then you can leave a donation below because I get, at this point, hundreds of requests, every month. So I don't have time to get to all of them. If someone sends out one that, I feel like doing, then I might just do it. But a lot of times I'm not going to be able to get to them. So if you guys want a guarantee to be done, you can leave the donation below. It looks like the volatility is back, guys. So this is what the stock is known for. Volatility is vitality, right? If the stock is not moving, it's basically dead. You want the stock to be moving. So right now we're seeing an increase in volatility. This is a good sign. This is a good precursor to maybe good things coming in the future. We're still finding support off that 240 level measure move target that I had on this regular chart, not the log scale, the regular scale. So we have one leg down right here, second leg down. And if you put a horizontal line right at the tip of this arrow, boom, that's exactly where price started finding support and it's trying to bounce out of here, right? Why haven't we done that yet? Is because price is still showing some bearish tendencies, still below this bearish trend line and still below this breakout zone right here of about 289. So there's definitely a lot of aggressive selling going on at this high $200 level. But how long is it going to last, right? I mean, it looks like it's already failing. It looks like the trap is being set. So remember I told you guys yesterday about a failed breakout pullback. So a lot of times you'll see price break out like we did. Like, let me show you guys right now. So this was what we were looking at right here. You didn't see this green candle. So imagine this green candle wasn't there. So all you see is this right here. You see price came back to the breakout zone of 291, and then we saw a massive red candle. So that was a breakout, and price pulled back to it and found resistance, and we sold off. So traders entered short below that red candle, and because they were expecting price to continue lower, but it looks like price got triggered into their trade, and price looks like immediately reversed higher, and their stop losses are right above the high 200. So 297 to 300 is where a bunch of stops are sitting. So again, it could be ran tomorrow. We'll see if it breaks out higher. But it looks like the market basically had people take more shorts, right? Because price broke out and, shorts were entering trades. And now they probably they thought they saw the confirmation of a breakout pullback and they're adding even more shorts in. So again, this thing could really rip higher very quickly. I don't think it's going to take that long to get to 4,500 if it starts taking off, right? You can get to 4,500 in a few days at that point. But do I think it's going to get there in a few days? Probably not. I'm expecting March to be a decent month. I'm expecting it to, continue rallying higher, March, April, May. But again, maybe March is another one of those sideways correction months before we see a rally. But let's see how this develops. As right now, it's developing pretty good. We're still finding support. However, we're still finding resistance. So that's what the market's uncertain right now. We did see a massive swing today. So the day's range for us from 237 to 293. So that's about a 50. Let's see, 50 would be 87. You add 6 more. That is 93. So 56-point range. So that's massive. Let's say we get another 56-point range today. That would take price to, let's see, 290 plus 50 is 340. And then you have 343 plus 6, 349. If I did the math correctly, 349. So price would get to 349 if we see a similar days range move. Obviously, the percentage would change, but again, think in terms of points, we would get right to the 340s, just in a day or two. So again, it can easily rip up higher. When this stock starts running, it runs. So I don't think it'll be any problem to get to this prior high in time, right? In time, it'll be very quickly. But will it get there? Let's see if it can break above the 300. I think if it breaks above the 300, it breaks this downward trend line. There's not a lot of things stopping it. I think it'll continue to rip up higher. So overall, it's looking very good. Now, let's say the bearish case does play out, which means we do continue just trending down lower to, like I said before, the possible targets of lower 200. then I mean, risk assets, this is a risk asset, is probably foreshadowing something going to happen in the market. So again, that's not a good sign, right? You don't want to see it get that low because it could be foreshadowing something coming in the market, because generally people are going to be selling off the riskier assets versus the more um, safer assets, right? They're going to switch their portfolio around, and they're going to start going into, like, the Dow Jones type of stocks or something like that. So, and they're rallying pretty good right now, especially like Visa, and the risk assets are kind of struggling right now, like Tesla, PayPal, MSTR. Either way, it looks like we did see a nice bounce off that 240 level once again. It almost took out the high 200s. It went to the 293 level, and then we saw still a rejection off of it. So then aftermarket still looks bullish. Let's see what happens to Bitcoin. Bitcoin continues to rally. Again, you can't talk about strategy without talking about Bitcoin. If Bitcoin continues to rally, which it looks like it is highly probable of doing, then MicroStrategy will follow as well to the upside. So Bitcoin is looking pretty good right now. It's still bouncing off that trend line, still trying to push up higher. MicroStrategy doing the same thing. Looks like a little micro higher low. Expecting this to continue higher. What else is there to talk about? And we could talk about a little about MicroStrategy. Does it have does it have a strong balance sheet? Is it a recession proof stock? Again, really hasn't gone through a recession yet. Maybe back in 2020, but again, they weren't really on that Bitcoin standard during that time. It was slightly after. I think kind of like April or May of 2020 is when they started, getting on that Bitcoin standard. But I think it'll be, if you ask me which company would I buy, right, to hold in a recession, I would buy MicroStrategy. Why? Because their cash on hand is Bitcoin, right? That's their Bitcoin. It's very liquid. They can sell it on a Sunday, anytime, to anyone in the world. Extremely liquid. The transaction takes place within 10 minutes. So extremely liquid cash, very large cash portfolio or balance sheet. And I think it's probably one of the strongest in the markets. Yes, they don't have a lot of like actual, US dollar cash, but that doesn't matter, right? If we believe Bitcoin will be the money of the world, which most likely probably will be, it's the hardest money in the world. Generally, over time, people go towards the hardest money. You can read any history book, and they tell you that people use seashells before, then you move to copper, silver, then you move to gold. It just keeps on getting harder and harder, right? You want to have the money that's the hardest to create into existence, and that's Bitcoin right now. So again, Bitcoin most likely to do very well. And with that being said, MicroStrategy will also most likely do very well, as because they got 500,000 Bitcoin on their balance sheet. Let's take a look at the log scale weekly chart. Let's take a look right now. So far, last week was a little bit bearish. This week is turning out to be, it's turning into a bullish week so far. Price was trading right around the 238 level. Now it's back up to the mid to high 200s. So if this continues higher, I mean, we could see a massive green candle. Let's say price continues to rally. Again, it could easily take out this high, like easily. Again, I don't want to butter you guys up. Again, nothing's guaranteed in the market. Let me repeat that again. Nothing is guaranteed in the market. Please manage your own risk with your stop losses or position sizing. Please manage your own risk. So let's take a look at the weekly chart. Again, long-term trend still remains intact. We're still above the bullish trend lines, which is a very good sign. It's not the end-all be-all, because sometimes we could still be above the bullish trend line. Like, for example, we were here above the bullish trend line, but then price, went in a bear market. So we don't see any topping signs either. I don't really see any topping signs. I mean, if you want to say this is the top, then what analysis are you using to say this is the top? Why wasn't this the top right here back in March of 2024 at 194? That one had a better chance of being a top than where we are right now, on a technical aspect. Why? Because the measurable target was reached. So if you're going to say we topped, what is your technical reason we topped, right? And see, this was the top right here, or a temporary top because price continued higher. So if price did not want to stop there and it continued to zoom out higher, that tells me it wants to move up higher, right? So if we combine the first two legs together now, we can make one larger leg, and that takes price to right around the $2,200 level. So I'm expecting that, and then we can look for this leg right here. This is all one large leg right here. Second leg up. So the first target would be right around the $1,500, $1,600 target, then 21, 22, and then my granddaddy target of $4,000. If not this cycle, I think most definitely next cycle, right? I don't want to guarantee anything, but again, the technicals, using measure move targets and then highly accurate. This one's right around 4,000 something. I used the same measure move target to predict that oil would go below $0 a long time ago. When it crashed, it went below $0. I can show you guys a measure move target that got over there. Let's take a look. Let's see. Is it US oil? Is it USO? I think. Hold on. Oh, let's see. I think it was one of this ones. Is it WTI? Let me take a look right now. Let's go to the regular chart, regular scale. Yeah, so this is the oil chart that I look at. Now, look at this measure move target right here. This is all one large leg run right one large leg down right here, one massive spike. I'm going to clone the arrow. It's the same arrow, right? And let's move it and we don't see the right side of the chart. Let's say, price topped out, you put it right there. Okay? So we have a clone of this measurement of this impulse, this magnitude. You drag it over to this top right here and, let's say you put a horizontal level right there. It goes right down to like $1, right under $1 at this point. And at one point it was negative if you probably go in the futures market. Anyway, it's at 43 cents. It looks like. Who would have thought oil would go to 43 cents, right? Now let's say we're playing this forward as the time goes on. The time's going on. The time's going on. Is getting closer and closer to the target. As time's going on, it's still taking its time. It's still taking its time, and then boom, it hits the target right here in 2020. Do you see that? It hits the target. How do I know that was going to play out? See, I mean, it's not random. I show you guys the same thing, MicroStrategy as well. I showed you guys this measurement target right here. What's it called? That level of 240, right? I said 240 was going to be at least a temporary stopping point, and that's what happened, right? Price bounced up higher. Either way, still looking pretty good. I think the correction is starting to come to an end. Higher probability wise. If not, it is what it is. Again, I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I'm going off of based on what happened already and where price has a tendency to go. And the trend still looks very good also long term. So again, if you think MicroStrategy topped, that basically means you saying Bitcoin topped. And again, that happened before where MicroStrategy did diverge and topped out earlier. But I think it's just a different company, right? They hold a lot more Bitcoin and the technicals aren't really showing a blow off top yet, right? You haven't seen anything yet. This is nothing, right? This is nothing. I'm expecting very good things coming. Again, it's not guaranteed. You cannot take my word for it. This is just my prediction. I want to always cautious that. But again, I still think it looks pretty good right now, and we'll keep on monitoring this throughout the cycle. This is Vee Trades, and thank you for your time.